Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and what is it? It's Sunday, July 27th, 8 p.m. And that is when this Alrighty, we are live. And we have audio, which is always good. And as I said, it is 8 p.m. when the evening stream starts, the answering your financial questions live, and that will happen on the weekends or days that I cannot do the Ramsey Show after show because I'm working that day. My schedule does change quite often, and so that is a reason also where if you would like to schedule a free consultation / assessment with me, you can just email me and we will work that out. As far as my availability, I used to use a website for it, but it's not tenable to keep changing it constantly for different work hours. And I forgot all about updating the ticker below, but I just got that done right before I hit start streaming, and so that does have the new dates for this week, including a very special Ramsey Show after show in the morning. That would be the 11:05 a.m. on July 28th, tomorrow, Monday morning, and I will explain the jersey behind me that's hanging on the steps there. I also have one fun story about my frugality, and also something that happened with my 401k, or that's the situation with my 401k at work that I had not seen anywhere else. It may be old hat to some of you. Your company may do it exactly the same way. But I had not seen it before, so interesting stuff to come tomorrow. And on this stream, the Answering Your Financial Questions, I just do questions almost always. Occasionally, I'll get off on a tangent or something like that, but mostly just answering questions. So let's stop babbling and let's do that. We go to the Facebook group, which is the Ramsey Baby Steps community, and that is again on Facebook, and that is run by Ramsey Solutions, the company that Dave owns, or we go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And fans run this. This is not run by Ramsey Solutions. A lot of people that post seem to think that it is run by Ramsey Solutions. It's not, and I don't know if they have anybody checking it out either. It really wouldn't be. It wouldn't be in their best interest to try to have somebody that works there go in and try to set records straight and stuff like that if somebody types in the wrong advice. And I don't even know if they do that on their own, in their own group. But generally in the Facebook group, generally if there's somebody giving the wrong advice, somebody does say, well, no, the Dave advice is this. And he's normally not a mod or anything like that. It's just another member of the group. Alrighty, so let's go. The Gaius Scholar. I might have read this before. Apologies if so, but I don't remember it. Why does Dave Ramsey? And he does have a space in between his name. Now, granted, in the subreddit, it does not have a space because you don't put spaces in web addresses. Why does Dave Ramsey recommend young people move out? And if I did read this, I'm sure I made fun of the person not being able to formulate a complete sentence correctly. Young people move out, maybe to move out of their parents' home if they are from a healthy relationship with their family. And as usual, none of this crap here, any of this stuff is not going to change the advice. The advice is that Mr. Ramsey prefers that adults do not live at home with mommy and daddy because that helps them become good adults. How about that? Now, a A situation that might be different is if the child has special needs or is disabled or something, or some kind of thing like that. Then, at that point, it might be better for the child to stay home, the adult child to stay home with parents, as they like to call it, at home. Now, home is where you live. It's not necessarily your parents' house, but when people say I live at home, for them, it generally always means they're living with parents. But that is not the advice for Mr. Ramsey. And again, the advice is so great because it doesn't change with your little situation. It's the same for everybody, whether you like it or not. Most people don't like it and won't do it. A side pail 378. Whole life policy I've had for 14 years. Well, that's 14 years of crappy investment. Congratulations. Oh, let's see what the whole thing is here now. And the answer is no. No matter, again, what is written here. Nope, that's not true. Let me correct myself. I apologize. I am wrong about this. There is an exception. If you cannot get term life insurance or any other kind of insurance and you have a whole life policy, that's when you would keep the whole life policy. Like, for example, if you have a cancer diagnosis or something like that and you can't get insured otherwise, then you keep your horrifically bad life insurance policy, but it is better than nothing. But a whole life insurance policy 14 years ago, the monthly cost is $200 for $250K, and payments end at age 65. It was more of an emotional buy since my parents passed away, and was rather eye-opening in terms of financial security for those that were left. Now, presently, age 38, I have a term policy for 12 years left, in addition to the whole life for $800K. I'm wondering what is the best course now that I've realized the whole life policy is probably more than I need since I have an emergency fund and contributing to retirement. I'd like to reduce the whole life payment in half. The advice would be that you reduce the whole life policy by 100%. So you cancel it. Now, if you have, it depends. So basically what you need is 10 times the amount, regardless of whether you have an emergency fund, regardless of whether you're investing for retirement. If, again, and this is if at 38, if you have somebody dependent on your income, if you don't have anybody depending on your income, then you don't need life insurance at all. So, I mean, maybe, if you want to be cool, maybe you get a life insurance policy with enough to cover your burial cost, your final cost, that kind of thing. But you don't even really need that. It'll be worked out. They'll take anything you own and sell it for the money for your final expenses. So, yeah. So it's not some little dumb bull crap. Like, I mean, what is this still an emotional thing where you're attached to it by wanting to, you realize it's bad. So, well, instead of getting rid of it, I'm just going to cut the payment in half. That's dumb as crap, because you can get more term coverage than you can for the same price as the whole life, even the half of whole life payment. You might be able to get the whole $800 for whatever that half is. So just increase your term life. People like, they embrace their bad decisions and want to keep doing them. And of course, I'm human as well. I do that too, but not, thank goodness, not with financial matters anymore, only with matters of the heart, and we are all susceptible to that. Green Machine 16 says millennial first time home buyer. Oh, it wasn't $1 million, but I was going to do Dr. Evil for the million, but it's millennial. Has Dave actually addressed the housing crisis for first time home buyers who don't have general wealth? Shut up. Everybody, this happens all the time on every single freaking Ramsey show and on a whole bunch of questions in here. It's always, here's your excuse for not wanting to follow the Ramsey advice is, what is it in this one? It is the housing crisis for first-time home buyers, for millennials, or in today's world, in today's economy. I don't care about any of that. None of that matters. Guess what? Because people before you were born were saying that same bull crap, and now you think it was all fine then, and now it's only bad for you. Shut up. Quit being stupid. Is the actually the housing crisis for first-time buyers? And guess what? His house buying advice is based on where you are, not where the market is. You buy when you can afford it. You don't try to time the market. He doesn't say don't buy if it's going to cost a lot of money. He doesn't say that. He says when you can afford it, and that means the mortgage payment on a 15-year fix. I don't give a crap if you want to buy more house and on a 15-year fix you can't afford the payment. That means you can't afford the house, and his advice is keeping you from being house poor, and he's not sorry about that, and neither am I. You don't need generational wealth to build a house or to buy a house either. It helps if you don't make dumbass mistakes that, if you followed his advice from birth, would be best. That would be best. The second best time to start is today. Let's see. This is how it seems. He addresses things for millennials stuck in the renting phase longer than they should have, than they would have liked now. They would have liked to, maybe. Don't rent forever. Right. Unless you can't get yourself into a position where you can afford to buy. Don't complain about having an hour-long commute to work in order to afford a house you can afford. Yeah. To afford a house you can afford. You mean to buy a house you can afford? To afford a house that you want should be the word. And maybe you want a house that's too big. Houses were smaller and had worse appliances and finishes back in the day, so suck it up and quit whining and move into a shoebox. Yeah. Shut up. Let's see if it's more with the dot, or the dots were just, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, there's more. Only buy a house on a 15-year mortgage with no more than 25%. Yeah, and that keeps you from being house poor. Again, I don't care if you want a bigger house than you can afford. Mr. Ramsey is telling you that you cannot afford it. So quit being stupid and wanting way more than you can afford. That is dumb as crap. You are going to take yourself, and if you have a family, you're going to take them right with you on a ride down the crapper if you buy too much house. Which on the medium nationally much cheaper than where we live. Hey, and guess what? Guess what? You might not be able to stay there. You don't get a pass on the math because you're born in California. I don't care about that. You have to make California money to stay in California. If you don't make that high cost of living salary, then move to the freaking Midwest. Would mean I'd have to make it minimum 140K year take home or have some insane down payment. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you do it. That's how you afford it, by saving for a larger down payment. And you can do that faster by taking 2 years off of investing as well. And people didn't really say anything about that, but that is an option. And that's the hack for that, is you put more down. And that means you don't spend money on any other dumb crap you're doing. You prioritize buying a house there when you don't make enough to buy a house there. So there are ways to do it, but you just got to have patience and make sacrifices. And millennials aren't the best at doing that because they've been coddled. Every single generation gets more and more coddled. And it's disgusting. 32 in a high cost of living area make 115K. Yeah, guess what? 115K isn't high cost of living money. You don't make enough money. But any homes I'm looking at on a 30-year are well beyond 33%. Yeah. And so that's why you don't make enough money. And instead of looking inward and saying, oh, this is my fault, I might not make enough money, I want this house anyway. Wah. Coddled. Coddled, spoiled kids. And this one is 32. Has kids of his own. Wife is a stay-at-home mom. Hey, and 3 kids, that's probably the right call because that daycare would negate that salary. So yeah, but that's the situation that you are in. You are the dumbass that put yourself in that situation. And you could have seen the painting, seen the handwriting on the wall, and predicted the future and realized, oh, I don't make enough money for this. You could have looked at the Ramsey advice now instead of putting the main emphasis on what you want. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter. Now you are free to be dumb and make bad financial decisions, such as getting the 30-year mortgage and paying 33% of your take-home pay on the mortgage. You can certainly do that dumb crap if you want to, and we'll see you on the other side when it doesn't work out and you go back to Ramsey and say, oh, I bought a new. Yeah, we tried to tell you. Both Dave tried to tell you with his advice, and you read about it somewhere. You apparently are familiar with it, and here's the problem: you just don't like it because you can't get what you want. Wah. Wah. Reminds me of the story where my parents got me a lot of Star Wars toys when I was a little kid, about 10 years old. You were 32, sir. And they got me a bunch of different Star Wars figures, etc., etc., etc. All right, we were at the store, and then I saw the Millennium Falcon, and that bad boy was, I can't remember what it was. It seemed like it was like $50. I don't think it would have been back then, maybe $20, $30. But they didn't make a lot of money either, my parents. And so, you know, and so my thing was, okay, well, let's take everything else back, and I want this Millennium Falcon. And so that answer was a no from my parents. And you have to be the adult here and tell your own dumb ass no here. And so, but if you wait and save more money, you can get it. And yes, I did get that Millennium Falcon eventually. My son is the proud owner of that right now. Along with almost the entire rest of my Star Wars collection. Anyway, so you need to quit being a whiny baby. Because you have kids of your own. And they shouldn't be whiny babies either. Unless they're actually babies. Then you have an excuse. You haven't lived out long enough. Don't understand. We have about $80K for down payment. You're dumb as hell. That's not enough down payment for you. And I don't know, why doesn't it occur to these people ever that, oh, it's on me, that's my bad, I don't make enough money. Guess what? If I want something and I don't have enough money to buy it cash, do I whine about it? No, I say, oh, that's my bad, I don't make enough money. That's fun to do that. That doesn't move the needle around here. I think we found the two problems. It is the cost of living where you have chosen to live or where you were born. Sometimes you got to move away from where you were born, sorry. And it's your low income. Sorry about that. If you can make the same money in the Midwest, that will do you a lot better. I'm sorry that you might have to move to get what you want. You get to make the choice, okay? You can do some dumb crap if you want to, or you can move when you don't want to, or you can buy a cheaper house when you don't want to. Let's see. Let's get some more right. I have a rent discount that makes renting at least $1,500 a month cheaper than buying, so it just makes the math on buying seem so much worse. Yeah, you should certainly consider that. That's a great benefit from work. And more financially irresponsible, we're debt free and have a fully funded emergency fund. Oh, so it seemed like somebody was fine with the Ramsey advice until they found out something that they are saying discriminates against them. No, it doesn't. It discriminates against being stupid. Yeah, I guess I'm just venting or looking to see what other people are experiencing. Sure, I just vented at your dumbass. It seems like the only way to homeownership is to move. Yep, which we've always envisioned might happen. Oh, so you already know. You're just whining. Okay. But our community here is so great, and my job has really been great. We'll continue renting while you continue to save up and quit your bitching. Be an adult. I guess I'm just venting or looking to see what other, it seems, oh, we did all that already. It's the combination of the massive increase in home prices and the higher interest rates that are killing our chances of buying a home here, and I don't like it. I want there to be some kind of exception for me. There's not going to be one. The ratio of home prices to income has only grown over the last 5 years, and that's the main driver. Keeping first-time homebuyers out without any equity. Dave would say I'm complaining, and he would be 100% correct. But I'm just out here trying to do the financially responsible thing. Well, you don't try, you do or do not. Isn't that what Yoda said in Empire Strikes Back? Don't try, you do it. And it's best if you do it without constantly whining about it. Any advice or commiseration is welcome, and it's a lot to post. It must have gotten, there's the lock right there. Kachook, no more commenting about that. I wonder if somebody was calling this person a whiny little ass. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. That was a fun one. Fit Magazine, 518, 0 out 401k, feeling nervous, and that's a no. If the only time you would do that is in retirement to use the money to live on in retirement, and you don't zero it out, you just take out as much as you need for that whatever interim month, year, whatever. So you do not do, or if you're in some kind of legal thing, but 401ks are protected somewhat. I don't know what they do with, I don't know if that's exempt for bankruptcy or not. I'm not sure. But there may be some legal stipulations that where it would cause you to have to pay for something out of your 401k. Let's see, I almost committed completely until today. Today I'm completely committed. Baby step 1, check. Great, that's great. But guess what? It's not going to be as easy as you thought by using the 401k to do that. Now, if you have non-retirement investing, yes, you cash that out. If you have savings over that $1,000 for baby step 1, yes, you cash that out. And you send that all to debt on step 2. Established in January, baby step 2, never zero out my 401k. Great, because it's free money. I'm loosing from my company. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Zero out to not be, continuing to put money in there while you still have debt. That's like you trying to fill up a bucket that has a hole in it. Doesn't work so well. So that's why that is not the advice. And the advice also is to spell losing with 1 O and not 2, because that's loosing and not losing. I've managed to drop my debt from 119k down to 83k in the past 7 months. Great. Now working my full-time, 2 part-time, selling everything but the dog and living on nothing. Great. That's how you do it. It doesn't last forever. The sacrifices don't have to last forever, just until you get into step 4, and then you can start doing fun things again. But now I can finally say I'm completely living baby step 2. Fabulous. I think I'm gonna rely on this feeling in the pit of my stomach to drive me. I hate that I'm loosing a contribution to my future. You are helping out your future more by paying off your dumbass debt. But I will have my debt paid off so much sooner, right? Yes, and that is the reason. Trust me, Dave Ramsey didn't just like willy-nilly make up this stuff, make up this advice. He did not do that. He thought about it very, very much so that it would be the right advice. And also, 28 million documented success stories out there for his advice. There's no one else's that is anywhere even close to that kind of track record. Might have been very fortunate recently. I landed my dream job. We got some more stuff here, but that was the basics, I'm guessing. And increase my annual income by 41K. Great. Which will accelerate my payoff plan by a year. Great. And generally, you're saying it's going to accelerate it by a year. With you doing, does that mean with no contributions as well? With cutting out contributions and using that for debt, because that makes it go faster. And also, people that fully commit to it, and often just people without even thinking about it, end up somehow getting it done way before their projected payoff date. It's because you want it so much and you think of other ways to bring in money. I still have 2 credit cards total, $15,500. My car, 14. You could sell the car, and people think about doing stuff like that. You could sell the car and get a beater instead. And my dreaded student loans, $53,000. It's all part of the process of being gazelle intense, right? Yes, and I would say if you want something else to do, you can certainly cut down that timeline by not keeping that $14,400 of car that you owe. You could sell it and buy a beater for cheap, and then you don't have that payment anymore, and you don't have that $14.4 thousand worth of debt. Thanks anybody who's watching right now. Oh, we'll be watching later. Much appreciated. Maleficent Dare 4065. Inheritance investment advice. My husband and I are in early 40s and just unexpectedly inherited $820,000. It still feels surreal, I can imagine. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and he's been very successful throughout his career. We live below our means and already have over around $2 million in assets between his 401k, Vanguard Index Fund, our post-tax IRAs, as well as 529s for our kids. We manage our own money and keep it extremely diverse, but have thought about doing something that is more of a flyer with this new nest egg. What does a flyer mean? It's like something more out of the box. What are some creative or alternative investments ideas we should look at? There's no dot, so there's no more to it. If it's not broke, I wouldn't necessarily fix it. If there's some kind of business you thought about starting, maybe this would be a good time to do it with some of that money. Certainly wouldn't sink $820,000 into a business that you don't know whether it would work or not. I would just keep doing the same thing I was doing probably, but if you that, or you could be a landlord. It's not for everybody. It's not for me. I would never do that. I would, there's no headaches with mutual funds. So you would just do more mutual funds is what I would probably do on that. I'm trying to think of anything else. What else would I do with the money? Oh, and of course you can give a bunch away as well. You can do that with it. Charitable works. And sometimes that comes with a tax deduction as well. So you get a little bit of it back. JB061584. How much money to save for a used car? As little as possible. This is like the same thing. How much? This is like one yesterday where the gentleman was like, how much do you guys make so your wife can be a stay-at-home mom? And there's not anywhere near enough information about what's going on. And what I make in the Midwest here, if we're talking about California or wherever he was, dude, making 115K, and that doesn't even start touching the amount needed to buy a house there. You know, that's the difference. Your financial situation makes the difference there. But as little as possible. Definitely get your mechanic to check it out. Don't trust anybody else's mechanic. Don't trust the dealership mechanic. Leave the dealership out of it and buy a private sale, and you will come out ahead. Generally curious, how much money would y'all recommend saving up for a used car in this market? Everybody's all in this market. Again, the answer is as little as you need to. Quick background, husband and I are debt free except our very small mortgage. I drive a 2013 Mazda 3 and Hubs drives a 2008 Toyota Camry. Why do you need another car? We're on the hunt for something a little newer, lower miles, but hopefully a Toyota, Honda, Lexus. Okay, you're probably in a situation to do that, but why do that? Why do that just because what's your oldest one? 2008 Toyota Camry. I thought Toyotas were good. That should last longer than that. We got around 5,000 saved, but honestly, planning on saving until we need to purchase it. One of our cars goes out of commission. Oh, okay. So you're just going to save it? You should be putting more money to pay off the house. It's a small mortgage. You should be you can start putting a little bit away for car replacement fund, but the idea is that you get the house paid off, and then guess what? Then you have the mortgage payment to help replace any cars that go out. And so that's the reason the advice is that, and not just to upgrade just because you think your car is getting older. Or we have enough to make the jump to the right deal. Yeah, until I don't have a car anymore, until I need to buy a new one, I don't start looking. And so, but people love to start looking for deals ahead of time, and that's part of what makes people buy things when they shouldn't buy things that they don't need. We had originally set a goal of $12,000. Should have added this money as an addition to our fully funded emergency fund. Yes, it should be on top of that. But that should be going to, the bulk of that should again be going to baby step 6 instead of saving for a car that you do not need. Yes, the Toyota Camry from 2008 of our Lord, year of our Lord, 2008, will die at some point and need to be replaced. Yes, it will. But my 2005 Suzuki is still running fine after I purchased it about 5 years ago, and it's still running fine, and I don't have a separate fund to replace it. If it's an emergency and I absolutely need a new vehicle, I will use part of my emergency fund to buy it. If I need an immediate replacement for it. But so far, it's not a problem. It is still running fine. People love to jump the gun on stuff like that. And of course, I don't care about cars, so it's very easy for me to disassociate it and just look at it logically like that. And I'm not like, even when I had kids, I wasn't like, oh, what if I get stuck on the side of the road with the baby? I just don't think like that. There's enough bad stuff that happens on its own. You don't have to start trying to think about and head everything that's bad off at the pass. Can someone tell me if they change the subscription options for every dollar? I do not know. All of a sudden, and thank you. Props to you for saying it correctly. Typing it correctly. It's all of a sudden. Somewhere in the past, like 3 years or something, you start hearing more and more people saying all of the sudden. That is so dumb. That is not the same. My app is not bringing me. I notice now there's several different subscriptions to choose from, but I cannot find an explanation as to what those different subscriptions actually do. I'm in every dollar plus 7.99 option. I would think if you pay anything for it, you get the transaction. Maybe it's something between your app and your bank, or every dollar in your bank. Maybe I don't know. There's now a plus at $12.99 and $14.99. There's a premium at $17.99. I'm so confused. I don't know. You would think it would say the differences on their website. I don't know. Maybe you just didn't look into it enough. Maybe if you Googled it, an explanation would come up as well. But off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know about. I don't like it. I use a free Google Sheet. Their version of Excel. I use that to do budgeting. And yes, I have to do my transactions manually. Guess what? It's fine. That way I know I'm in touch more with what I'm spending. Stupid budgeting question. Do you really need one if you don't buy anything? Yes. I don't eat out, don't go to movies. That's so sad. I mean, I guess, if you don't need to do that, certainly you're spending money on something else that you do. Certainly. Let's see. This person has posted several times before, though. Don't wear makeup, etc., etc. I don't wear makeup either. I pay electric, water, Wi-Fi, property taxes, insurance, house maintenance. Okay. What's left is split between liquid savings, brokerage, and treasuries. Treasuries, that's bonds. That's not advised by Mr. Ramsey. And you would be paying off the house instead of doing extra investing other than retirement. So it wouldn't be out of brokerage account. It wouldn't be liquid savings. It would be in a retirement account. If I still have a bit left, I might buy a new pair of work pants to replace the ones that are worn out. Okay, that's approved. Change approved. Oh, almost forgot. I also support an old dog. Okay, that can get up there. Lately, since I'm getting ready for a big move / life change, I've been dabbling in the spreadsheet thing, but just wondering how many folks do you find just without budgeting? Well, budgeting is part of baby step 0. And actually, the better off you are, the more money that you make and have, you need to budget even more, because there's more that could just go out of there without you realizing it. Now, you might be on top of it in your head with everything you spend, since you don't spend much extra than your expenses and your savings / investing. But just kind of wondering how many folks do fine without spreadsheets, apps, envelopes, buckets. Not recommended by Mr. Ramsey. Again, that's part of baby step 0, that you're being intentional with it and you put it down on paper or digitally or something. You do it in advance and plan your spending. And that way it doesn't, old dog have to go to the vet. That's not going to be a planned thing. And maybe your emergency fund will, cover part of that or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you have a sinking fund for that. I don't know. But you should still do a budget. Everyone always should. And again, like somebody like, for example, Elon Musk, or somebody that bring in just tons and tons and tons and tons of dough, they need to be budgeting even more stringently, because there's more money that could be easily wasted if they don't pay attention to it. Insurance necessary spring 129. At what point is one considered self-insured? Net worth of $500K or $1 million. You are considered self-insured when you have, it's not as simple as you think it is by trying to come up with a number, and it might be different for different people. If you're prone to accidents, that would be a different thing. If you have some kind of pre-existing health condition, that would be a different thing. But it's when you can afford to whip out your checkbook and write a check, or use your debit card, or send a digital payment to anybody that would is something that would be covered by insurance, like something for your car or even your liability for injuring others. If you can pay for all of that, then you are self-insured at that point. 1 million might not be enough. It depends. Depends on your exact financial situation and how many dependents you have as well, and if you have a spouse, and what your line of work is, how often you could get injured at work. If you work in a coal mine, that might be different if you are typing on a computer, but there's still that carpal tunnel thing. So yeah, that's going to be different for different people. So unfortunately, there's no single answer for everybody, but people always love to try to get single answers for everybody when none exist. Baby step 2 completed. This is Adan, Adan, 24. Baby step 2 completed. Congratulations. The baby step is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Only a master of evil doth. I finished baby step 2 on Friday. Excellent. This was 8 days ago. So the Friday before 8 days ago. And it felt like a big milestone. It is. Every single one of those steps. I mean, there's only 7 of them. There's not going to be, that many different steps. There's only 7 of them. So I think all of them would be a big milestone. Instead of just writing a quick post, I made a video to share the full story with my friends. Since most of them had no idea I was doing a total money makeover, I wanted to share it here too, and would love to hear your thoughts or tips as I move into baby step 3. Okay, so, may just want to share it. I mean, that's what I do when I make videos. I want to, hopefully somebody will see it and make better financial decisions. That's what I'm hoping. But I also get it. Some people, this person might just want views as well. But the important thing is that baby step 2 is completed. I will take this person at their word that it is completed. And that is the important thing, regardless of views. 40 minutes long, so this is the summary. That is up there. Not saying that I couldn't babble for 40 minutes easily about something. Oh, and it's in the bloody UK, looks like, because of £12,000 in debt. Paid it off in 11 months. I've completely changed the way I think about money. I feel like I'm finally on the path to financial peace and freedom. I truly thank God for helping me grow through the process and for giving me the discipline to stick with it. I'm so grateful for the impact Dave and his team have had on my life. I should have been reading this in British accent. As I move into baby step 3, I would love any advice on building the emergency fund and how to stay focused without the intensity of debt hanging over me. And I always get confused with Australian and they overlap with the British and the Australian. Too long didn't read, paid off over 12,000 bloody quid in 11 months and just finished baby step 2. Video linked above. Feeling thankful and focused. Any baby step 3 tips? Welcome. Well, this person probably knows, sounds pretty on top of it. You do not change lifestyle going into step 3. You remain gazelle intense until you're on step 3. You wait to change that lifestyle and start going out to eat occasionally again when you're on step 4, not on step 3. You need to remain intense while on baby step 3, and that is my advice for baby step 3. Nice mustache, pay cash for a house, or get a small loan. Now there's no situation where the Ramsey advice is gonna say, oh, if you have the cash, you should still get a small loan to buy something. And if this person thought about that for 2 seconds, if that penetrated the financial bro thing about debt leverage that some people have, if it penetrated, they would realize how dumb the question is. Wait, so if I want to buy my son and I tickets to a movie, which we saw in the past couple weeks. We saw Superman and Fantastic Four. Highly recommend both. Saw Happy Gilmore today. All good. All recommended. Because I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. But yeah, there's no situation where if you have the cash, you would debt leverage and get a loan in order to keep extra cash around. So that's going to be a NAR, but let's read this dumbass crap anyway. I mean, that's what the stream is, after all. We're buying our home and have an opportunity to pay cash for our house, but not sure if it's the right choice. What did I just say? When is Mr. Ramsey going to tell you to do that? And if you don't want Mr. Ramsey's advice, why are you asking anybody? We have $415,000 outside of retirement in a mutual fund that we can use to pay for the house. Then, yes, that's what you do. The home is $320,000, so if we went all in, it would leave us around $95K in the mutual. And I guess we don't have to say mutual fund. We can just say mutual, like John Deloney and a couple other people I've heard recently say, just call it a 401 instead of 401k. See, I almost couldn't say it wrong just because I'm so used to saying 401k. We're currently torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn between paying all cash or getting a small 50K so we can cover all the additional items that it takes to move in. Hey, guess what? It doesn't take anything to move in. I'm going to go ahead and guess that you have a bed at your current house. That you have anything else that you would need to live at your current house. It's just not a new one, and you want to buy new stuff for the new house. That is so dumb. You don't need it. If you're that worried about the money, you especially shouldn't buy that stuff. And you can buy it later, saving up for it, the amount that you would be paying to the freaking mortgage, you idiot. If I pay cash, I'll have to cover about 15 to 20K in other expenses. What? Closing, washer, dryer. You don't already have one? You gotta have a new one? Maybe they're renting or something right now and it's part of the rent or something like that. Who knows? Lawnmower, paint, and fence. Okay, guess what? You don't have to paint it right away. You don't have to do that. That's optional. You gotta wash your clothes, sure. You gotta pay closing costs, sure. But guess what? That was also, you said 15 to 20K. You just said it would leave you 95K. Quit trying to have extra savings instead of paying off the house, because that is not the advice. The same way that if you did not have a mutual fund that was not part of retirement, you would not put money in that instead of putting extra on the house. So you think about it as that as well. Mr. Ramsey has given you all the answers. You just can't figure it out in your mind because you can't possibly think of waiting to paint or fix a fence or build a fence or whatever like that. And hey, maybe you're buying a house that requires too much extra in money. 15, 20K, not that much, especially when you have 95 that you're not doing anything with. So you tell me what the important thing is here to get that stuff done for the house and not to have a mortgage payment or to have X number of K in a brokerage account. Which one is more important to you? And if it's opposite Dave Ramsey's advice, then why ask? Why not just do the dumb crap you want to do? Going with a smaller loan will allow me the extra room to cover those expenses while I'm going to dip into our emergency fund. This is not an emergency. You wouldn't do that. Again, why are you such a dumbass? This person is a dumbass. Seriously. So you think that say, even if this stuff was 100% necessary, you think the advice would be to pull it from the emergency fund instead of your extra savings mutual fund, which is not in the advice at all? No, it's not. I mean, you did it right by saving up enough cash to pay off the house, to buy the house completely in cash. That is the advice. This other dumb crap you're doing is not the advice. I think we're leaning towards a small loan so we can move in without having to touch the emergency fund. You're stupid. Again, you're mischaracterizing it. You don't have to touch the emergency fund. You're just making it seem like you do because you don't want to give up the extra cash. And that is not the Ramsey advice, my friend. And don't feel bad. Most people won't follow his advice because they're dumb like you. Reggie, 2320, pay off the house or save? Depends on what you're saving for. Something in 4, 5, and 6, if you are saving for a vacation that you're planning and are budgeting, then both at the same time is what you would do. I, 37 female, my husband 36 man, maybe he like older women, have been pushing hard to pay our house off by January 2026. With $50,000 at 2.25%, and the house is probably worth around $400K. Congratulations. We make around $325K before taxes. We are 100% debt free. Besides our mortgage, we have 11 and 9-year-old in private school. That's on you guys. If you choose to pay that and you can afford that and you put it in the budget, knock yourself out. Our third child is now on the way and due in February. We will eventually have to renovate our home to accommodate the new baby. Will you though? Here we go. We will eventually have to. The way your house is now, there's no room for a baby. The baby's going to be sleeping in your room. In a crib. For a couple of years, right? Where we're thinking we have 2 or so years before this absolutely has to be done. Exactly. So we don't worry about that right now. You can make long-term plans for sure, but you don't have to have it all figured out right this moment. Baby can just stay exactly a year or two before we really need to consider renovating. Exactly. And it should only be considering. We're strongly considering me becoming a stay-at-home mom after baby arrives. Yeah, and that is the problem. That is what happens. And so if you want to be a stay-at-home mom instead of working and continuing the amount of income that has been coming in, you have to stop spending money like your Congress. Like it's going out of style, as the old saying says. Our oldest 2 are reaching the age where we're constantly having to take off work, sports, school activities, and doctor's appointments. Okay, doctor's appointments, yes. Do the children have to do sports if you have to take off work? No, they don't. Quit doing everything for your babies. I understand you want to do some of that stuff. And I did some of that stuff, but every opportunity that somebody gives you for your child to play sports, or every single school activity, if you did that, you would be poor. And so I'm going to go ahead and say my ex-wife and I probably did maybe 15% of those activities. Doctor's appointments, yes, you do have to do that, but you can't lump those in. Those are necessary. Doctor's appointments are necessary. The sports and school activities are not. I take off the majority of the time because I have more flexibility in my job, but even then it's becoming more and more frequent. Sounds like a little justification station here. And I'm all for people being stay-at-home parents. All for that, especially when they only make a little bit more than daycare would cost. But so what is it you're trying to save for then? Save for not having a higher income? Oh, because you had the plan to pay off the house early. Well, you wouldn't be saving it. You would be sending it right to the house. But since you are pregnant, I don't know if you're familiar with the Ramsey advice, and it doesn't say that in the baby steps, but the second you become pregnant, guess what happens to the baby steps? You're not on any of them. Like, for example, if you were on baby steps, I guess 4, 5, and 6, perhaps, is where you were. Where you might still be because you're doing it wrong, but wherever you are will be right there when you get done with the pregnancy. You get home safe. You and baby get home safe, and you have settled, all the bills from the hospital. And then you return to the baby steps, and guess what? You're still right back where you were on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. And so any cash left over from not sending extra to the house, then you would send it to the house, to the mortgage. My income is $90K. That's excessive. How many already? 2 already? Or yeah, 2 already in private school. Got a great idea. Maybe consider not doing private school anymore. See, people act like things that are optional are not optional, and it's really, really dumb. If you can afford private school and you want to send them to private school, I don't have a problem with that. But you're getting ready to be in a situation where you might not be able to afford it, and a thing that I suggest for all of my clients and the world in general is that you see reality in front of you and you embrace it. And you work within that instead of being somebody that has a little spot in their mind where they say, oh, they have to go to private school, and that's BS. They do not have to go to private school. That is a choice. I guess the question was, would you stop trying to pay off the house and stockpile cash, or keep paying off the house? I would keep paying off the house, except for one thing. You should be in stork mode and pausing the baby steps, so you just pile up the cash. So that's basically saving it. So you would be doing that, but you would still put that all on the house the second mom and baby get home from the hospital and you have settled all the bills from the hospital. Our monthly mortgage payment is around $1,800. We have a $30K emergency fund as well. Any advice is greatly appreciated. Yeah, the emergency fund's great. And again, you're on step 4, 5, and 6. So you're better off than most people that post on here and ask questions like this. But even on 4, 5, and 6, you still, and with a full emergency fund, you still pause until mom and baby get home safe. Now, don't let that extra money you are saving now, instead of sending it extra to the house or applying it to kid college or investing it. I don't think Dave requires you to stop investing during pregnancy. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember him ever specifically saying that. It could be. I'll try to get an answer on that and get back to you. Maybe if I remember, I'll look it up right after I'm done here, and I'll report back on the after show tomorrow, because that is interesting. Whether that would be it. I could see not doing that. Not cutting off the contributions. Oh, stop trying to pay off the house. And yeah, I know you have that. What is it? January 2026. Their child now on the way, due in February. Okay, so you won't get it done in January, but you could possibly pay that off in February or March then. So it's not going to be done in January 2026, but February and March it would be. And so you have to let that go, and that's the reality of that. If you want to follow the Ramsey advice and do stork mode. You have storm mode for just general emergency, a job loss, something like that. or if it's pregnancy, that would be called stork mode. And in both, you pause the baby steps and you pay minimums on all debt, you pay your bills, you pay your mortgage payment, but you just don't send extra to anything at that point. Mungie Julio. Okay. Is it worth getting in debt into your college? It's not worth getting in debt for anything, no. Except Mr. Ramsey allows you to get into a mortgage for a residence that you live in. Or is it better to join Texas State Troopers? Okay, these are... One of these things is not like the other. This is just your little situation, and the choice isn't getting in debt into your college or joining the Texas State Troopers. That's your little choice to do, but the debt part doesn't have to be part of it. You just think it does, or you're just adding it in unfairly because it doesn't have to be part of the equation. I've been debating, isn't Texas not one of the schools that have, one of the states that have free community college? I know Tennessee is, and there's a couple others. Florida, maybe? I'm trying to remember what the others, I can't remember the other states. I've been debating weather. Okay, well, first, it's not weather. That's like the rain and snow and all that, the way you spelled it. It's W-H-E-T-H-E-R, which means this or that. Whether going Texas State Troopers or a 2-year college, but I would owe close to $50,000 in debt. No, you wouldn't. You would be paying cash for it, or you don't go. Or you can get perhaps some scholarships or something like that, or work, God forbid. I'm also married and have a 5-year-old daughter. All right. My wife is getting low pay in her job, and plus she would have to help me with my daughter while I go to school. Our daughter, maybe. Hopefully it's a sacrifice, but she and I have spoken about even in Texas, she and I have spoken about the ups and downs of college. If an emergency happens, like car broken down, sick, accident, etc., we wouldn't be as prepared because our parents and my parents are not equipped with financial support for us, and that shouldn't be part of the equation either. That's not your emergency fund. You have to have your own emergency fund. It sounds like you're not doing a lot of stuff smartly. I've told her that if I join Texas State Troopers with the years of experience that I have in security, plus I have enough college credit to qualify to join the department, and okay, that sounds like, why not? And maybe then they'll pay for schooling too. Let's see. And we won't have loans to pay back. Yeah, we talked about Texas DPS, the ups and downs, and she has told me to join DPS to avoid getting into debt or to be in college and not finish because of an emergency. I'm more likely than likely considering joining DPS to avoid college debt, especially since everything is going up in price, maybe. And so, yeah, the debt is not a thing. You can go to college. You can join Texas State Troopers. You can do both. But the debt is a no from Mr. Ramsey. So quit acting like that's the only way to pay for college. It's not. It also might mean you can't go right this second like you want to do, and that's normally the reason people finance stuff, so they can have it right now. 10 richest countries when you factor in cost of living. I don't ever click on these things, not during the stream anyway. Maybe I'll click on this. So what was my homework? Maybe click on this and find out something. Oh, whether you're supposed to stop retirement contributions during storm mode or stork mode. Okay, and so see, I remember. So no dementia today, not today. Dementia. What else are we going to talk about tomorrow? Financial advice, sell the house. Normally when they ask, that means it's time to do it. Do we need this switch places? I already did that one. Should we sell our house? Again, if they ask, probably. Increasing income and medical expenses. Okay, we'll see what the relationship there is. Advice, guidance, or reassurance needed. Well, I would just look at the Dave Ramsey track record and take his advice and guidance. Have a hard time making a big career decision. Okay, and that can happen. Alrighty, once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you are, it's about to stroll around here. I won't stop it and start it. If you are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, just want to talk to somebody about your finances, you can certainly do that with me. And you can schedule that assessment / consultation with me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Oh, it says 22nd there. That should have been erased. It was not. And of course, general information, baby steps 1, 2, and 3 in order, one at a time. No doing higher steps early. People miss that and try to do all the baby steps at the same time. Dumb. Or think they're on the highest baby step that they're currently doing, even though they shouldn't be doing it. 4, 5, and 6 are in order, all 3 at the same time, but still in that priority order. All right, as I said, you schedule free financial coaching consultation by emailing. You used to use a website for that, but it's too difficult, too much trouble to change it all the time. You just email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, to make that appointment with me. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $Coach Steve Money on the old Cash App. That's an app, kids. Or Walmart gift card to same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. The upcoming streams are going to be, as foretold, the Ramsey Show after show. And that is 11:05 on the weekdays that I can do it, immediately following the Ramsey Show on YouTube. And that would be Monday and Wednesday, July 28th and 30th. Oh, also Friday, August 1st as well. So that's so 3 of those this coming week. Answering your financial questions also for this upcoming week. 8 p.m. Eastern time is the time for that, just like it was tonight. And that's going to be Tuesday and Thursday, the 29th of July and 31st of July as well. All right, weird. Okay, so yeah, I was doing it at the last minute, updating it, and so that's fine. Doesn't make any sense. I was messing up when I was typing it, apparently. Alrighty. So thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every single day. Nights too.